Folks, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. Enjoy the show. Folks, we're back. We took a week off because I think we needed it. I think we needed to cleanse the palate.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna say.
That's all we're gonna say. That's all I want to say about it. The less said, the better.
And you know what? The palate. We picked a heck of a week to come back, though, because boy, has there been a shit storm of shit, Steve. There's been a lot of things happening to the Flyers.
Of shit.
Yeah. For the Flyers, and then just honestly in Philly sports in general, it's been quite an eventful, last couple of weeks.
It definitely has, and that's what I wanted to start off with today. I specifically wanted to talk about our beloved Philadelphia Eagles, so a little non-hockey detour to start today. But the Eagles played the Dallas Cowboys, who I think is the most hated team in Philadelphia sports history right there, on Sunday. And it was not a great day for Dallas Cowboys fans, which is a crying shame. The crying shame. Dak Prescott looks to be out for the season for them. The team is, I think that was their third or fourth straight loss.
I think it was like their fourth. Let me look it up. Yeah. I think it was their fourth, but like, dude, I mean, they've been playing like ass before Dak Prescott even got hurt. So like, this isn't like they can't make an excuse of like, we didn't have Dak Prescott. Like, you've had Dak Prescott and you've been bad the whole time. So
they can make the excuse of not having Micah Parsons, noted Philadelphia Eagles want to be Micah Parsons. But guess what? It didn't friggin' matter on Sunday because the Birds just stomped all over the Cowboys. And the funniest friggin' thing is if you don't follow American football there, if you don't follow, the NFL, the Cowboys have this obnoxious stadium where they have windows on the ends of the stadium. So, and they always play at like 4:30. They always play at like 4:25, 4:30. Yeah. And it's just like, which I think is by design. Like Jerry Jones came out and said he won't change this because like he thinks this is an advantage for them. Well, it was not an advantage on Sunday because like the setting sun shines through the window and just it blinds guys. It gets in their eyes and everything. It's insane. And it was just so funny watching that game where it's like, you've just got this blinding sun coming in and the guys are like, oh my God. And it literally, like, they missed a touchdown because CeeDee Lamb couldn't see the ball at one point.
Yeah.
And it's just so goddamn funny that like Jerry Jones insists on having this just obnoxious feature because he thinks it's home field advantage. And what I heard is the stadium has curtains that they can put up because when they have concerts and stuff, they'll put it up. But Jerry Jones is like, nah, this works great. What a piece of trash that guy is. And it's just always great to see things blow up in his face like Wile E. Coyote.
Have you seen Jerry Jones' comments after the game? So after the game, well, for those who may not know, Steve, I believe you've probably seen them, but after the game, Jerry Jones spoke to the media because I feel like whenever the Eagles beat Dallas, he has to talk to the media because it's like, I feel like
it's a huge disgrace to him.
Yeah.
He probably hates the Eagles as much as we hate the Cowboys.
I bet he does, which is hilarious to me.
So love it.
He spoke with the media after the game, and of course he was asked about the sun, and he said, quote, by the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we flip the coin, so we do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium. Let's just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? And then he goes on to say, every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun is going to be. Every team has the same thing. I'm not saying it's on McCarthy, Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year, and we get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? We're fine, but everybody plays in the sun out there.
What? What?
That's a wild tirade.
I've heard some really rambling, incoherent tirades over the past year, and I mean rambling and incoherent, and that's up there with the best of them. Oh my God. And it's just like, why would you even want this feature? You know, like, is it really that much an event? Like, it's just obnoxious, just like everything about that stadium, where it's got too many seats. It's too loud. Everything's too big. Like, it's just the most obnoxious stadium with the most obnoxious feature you can think of.
Now, what is a more insane quote, Steve? Is it that Jerry Jones quote, or is it the only? I told him when I was talking to him that he's like a lizard. The way a lizard takes his tongue and sticks it as far as it does and retrieves what it was trying to do.
I think the
ex-GM of the Minnesota Wild, Paul Fenton.
That was one of the Craigster's favorites right there, that Paul Fenton quote.
It was so good. I'll never
The
forget.
Fenton quote's great because it's like really weird. Like, it's weird in a way that I can't even comprehend thinking. But the Jerry Jones one, I think, is more insane because it's just delusional. Like, it is just like the peak of denial. Like, I don't have a problem. You all have the problem.
Yeah. We know where the damn sun is. And it's like,
man.
yeah, it's right there. And I can't
see there,
it.
blinding CD Lamb. Okay. Oh, just I love smashing the Cowboys. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And that was just a glorious game on Sunday. And I'm very happy about that. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. I'm all about that.
Jerry Jones cannot die.
I don't think he can. He's pretty old.
Honestly, I think what the Philadelphia Eagles need to do is like donate like a percentage of all the money they make from ticket revenue and all that, and like create like a little rainy day fund or some shit. And then whenever Jerry Jones has some sort of health issue, they need to give all that money to the doctors caring for Jerry Jones for the best treatment possible, because he needs to stay alive as long as possible, because if he does, the Cowboys are going to continue to be really, really dumb and stupid. They're going to continue to do dumb and stupid things as long as Jerry Jones is there. So that's what needs to happen.
I can't wait I'm really hoping they hit 20 years without a championship there.
It would be 30
years. They've already hit 20.
I would enjoy that quite a bit.
I think 96 was the last time they won a Super Bowl. Which, how about them Cowboys? Oh,
that's right.
Yeah. I can't imagine having a more obnoxious problem in a sports stadium, and it's their own problem that they've caused.
They did this.
Like, if you think about it, like the NHL, you don't really run into these problems. Like, the only thing you might have is maybe somebody's like board dimensions are a little weird, or like maybe the ice is just like melty, right?
It's
like
not great quality. Ice.
Yeah, but like that's not something people do on purpose, you know. At NFL stadiums, they don't really see that. Baseball has some weird ones, because baseball, like some owners are like, all right, I want the walls to be super short. You know, they can really mess with the dimensions in a weird way in baseball, but other sports, like it's kind of just universal, right? It's just, but football, this is like the one time where it's like, yeah, we're going to have an obnoxious feature and just really lean into it right here. So, you know what we like to say about the Dallas Cowboys? Fuck them.
It's true. It's true. Many people say this. Actually,
many people say this, but yeah, I needed to get some dunking in on the Cowboys. That was the one thing that's made me feel really good in the past week. And I guess we can throw one other thing onto that list, and that would be the glorious return of Matvei Michkov last night for the Philadelphia Hockey Flyers, where unfortunately our boy got scratched for 2 games, healthy scratch for 2 games, and a very unfortunate press box view as well. Over in, I believe Tampa Bay was the first game he was scratched for, right? And they showed him in the press box, and they must have, I guess because it was a stoppage, he was like looking down at his phone or something, but it kind of also looked like he was napping. It was just like, they were talking about how John Tortorella was like, well, you know, I want Matvei up there. I want him watching the game. I want him paying attention. And they, of course, put the camera on him in the moment where he was not paying any attention.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck. Yeah, he was just like literally doing anything but watching what was happening below.
Yeah.
So that was a very funny part of the broadcast. Yeah. What do you think about the Matvei Michkov scratching Steve? Well, I want to know your thoughts. I want to know your thoughts on, do you agree with scratching him 1 game? Do you agree with scratching him 2 games? Do you think he shouldn't have been scratched at all?
That's a great question. So I was upset when I heard about the scratching. I definitely thought this was some John Tortorella bullshittery right here. Some classic, like, Torts fucking around and finding out,
We shouldn't be surprised, though. We should not have been surprised. Yeah.
No,
we knew this was going to happen at some point.
The question, it was more of an over-under on when it would happen rather than an if. And it wasn't a huge surprise, especially because Michkov, he had that great start. And then the past few games, he was pretty invisible. He was not a guy you were really noticing out there. So it didn't surprise me. And I would even argue the 1 game was warranted, as would Brucey Bear here.
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with the 1 game.
But the 2 games was where I took umbrage, because I was just like, all right, here's the thing. We want to see one thing this season. Like, nobody's under the illusion the Flyers are competing for a Stanley Cup. Okay. If you're under that illusion, you need to lose your illusion, because you're wrong. It's just not happening. This is not a Stanley Cup team by any shape or any imagination. It's simply not. But what we are paying attention to this season is the development of the young guys. And Michkov is clearly the standout of the young guys, like by a mile. He's the most anticipated rookie since Eric Lindros in this town. And that's just a fact. Okay. It's just a fact, Jack. And I did not like the second game. I thought that was kind of a weird, desperate, and this is like classic Torts too, where, well, it worked 1 time, let's run it back again.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they did play a pretty good game against the Florida Panthers, who are a great team. I mean, they're the champs, right? They are the champs. Can you leave me alone, Bruce? For the love of God. The Florida Panthers are the champs, and that's not a good matchup for the Flyers. Like, I really did not think the Flyers were going to get any points last week. And they actually came away with 3 points, which was pretty darn nice considering the fact that they played the Hurricanes, the Lightning, and the Panthers. Just incredibly tough competition for a week. And Tampa Bay, I could not believe they won that game. That was shocking to me. They really shouldn't have. But I think Tampa played the night before or something like that. That was clearly
I'm not sure. I actually wasn't able to catch that game or the Florida game because I was up in New York for a wedding. So
it's one of
congrats,
like
Nico and Trish.
Weddings.
Yeah. I've had 1 million weddings this year. Congrats, Nico and Trish. Happy for you.
Is this the last one? Are you done yet?
We're done until I reckon the spring. Actually, no, I don't think there are any in the spring. I think the fall is the new wedding season.
I mean, the fall's beautiful. And here's the thing that I like about a fall wedding is, as a man, somebody who has to wear a suit to all these proceedings right here, the fall's a great time for a wedding because I'm not going to be sweating my ass off in a suit.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be doing that. So nobody wants to be sweating in a suit. It's gross.
It's gross. It's horrible sweating in a suit. And frankly, when I'm wearing a suit, I like to wear a jacket. Okay. Because as a larger man, a jacket really slims me down. So the jacket's great.
Yeah. I like wearing the jacket. It makes me look distinguished, which I'm not, but it makes me look that way.
I think you look good in a jacket, my friend. I think you look great.
Thank you, Steve.
In a jacket.
I appreciate you, Stove. But yeah, no, like so here, back to the Flyers. Here's another question for you, like a little bit of a follow-up. Do you think it's a coincidence that they benched him on the road instead of home?
That's interesting.
I don't think the fans' voice matters that much, but like it does make me wonder, like, if you scratch Michkov at the Farg and then you do it again the next game, like what, like it does make me wonder, like what, like, are they nervous about what the fan response would be or something like that? You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
I don't think it's that big a deal, but like, could that have been part of it? I reckon no, but
I hadn't considered that, but now that you mention it, I could very easily see that being a part of it. I don't know if John Tortorella, though, considers such decisions. Briere and Jonesy, I could see considering such decisions, but Tortorella, I don't think he gives a flying fuck about that.
Well, here's a
lot of curses so far, folks.
I'm
sorry, not sorry on that front.
Is it a coincidence that he was put back into the lineup when they came back from the road trip?
That's the thing. I don't know. I think, again, I would have only done one game. I think the fact that they did ultimately lose the Florida Panthers game, even if it wasn't a shootout, played a factor there. Because if they had won the Panthers game, then I think you've got a more interesting decision ahead of you. But they lost it in a shootout, so I don't know.
3 straight shootouts for the Flyers.
3 straight shootouts and 2 wins of those 3.
2, yeah.
I got to say, though, the San Jose game had no business going to a shootout. It was crazy that they let that game get tied. And to be fair, again, the tying goal came on like a really weird deflection that ended up like perfectly on the stick of Goodrow. But also, Eric Johnson, you just got to knock that dude down. You can't let that happen.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, in a game where Eric Johnson scored a goal.
What a season.
I
wasn't able to catch the Sharks. I have missed the last 3 Flyers games, like in terms of like watching them live.
Oh, so you're ready to commentate on this team.
So so like it was like looking at I remember I was celebrating my girlfriend's birthday, and I look down and I like am just checking the box score, and I see the goal scores, and I'm like, that's weird. It says the Flyers are like there's an extra goal here than what I'm seeing, because I just kept passing over Eric Johnson's name because I'm like, he's not scoring. And then I was like, oh my God, he's got a 1 next to the G column. That's crazy. So wild. Not expecting to ever see Eric Johnson score goals, but what a beautiful play. What a really
nice play. Now, from the line, you would expect that from the line. So the thing was, Michkov came back in that Sharks game, but he wasn't in a top 6 role. He was playing with Ryan Poehling and Anthony Richard, which Ant Dick, Tony Dix, as you might know him online. But Richard is, I like him. He's got some great speed. Yeah. I think he's a lot of fun in the lineup. But he's not a guy that you really expected to be seen playing on a line with your young star player. But in a weird way, I thought he actually complimented him well. And I mean, we would see results because they scored that first goal. Richard, I believe, had the assist on that goal. And then Michkov would later have that breakaway goal, which was beautiful. Awesome. Love that. 5-hole. Yeah, love that. Yeah.
It's nice seeing the Flyers score on goalies 5-hole as opposed to other teams scoring through Ivan Fedotov's 5-hole. We were going to talk about this a little later on in the show, but we now that we're on the topic of it, we might as well talk about it now. Ivan Fedotov against the Tampa Bay goddamn Lightning had the game of his career. The only win of his whole career.
The only win of his career against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Nikita Kucherov, who was an MVP candidate last year and could have won, like, unbelievable season from Kucherov. And he had the only goal in the game for Tampa Bay.
Yes. He outplayed Andrei Vasilevsky. Oh, and you know what? I'm not going to say outplayed because, I mean, Vasilevsky had way more saves than he did.
Sure. But the fact that he was even in that conversation is crazy.
Right. He stops 22 of 23 shots, which is far and away the best performance he's had as an NHL player. And he looked okay. He looked all right.
Okay. I mean, he apparently did enough right to not let up more than one goal, which was amazing. I am not going to lie. When I saw that Michkov was out of the lineup and Fedotov was going to be in net, I definitely bet against the Flyers. And I definitely lost that bet because I was like, oh yeah, there's no way the Flyers win this game.
You would be crazy to think that the Flyers are beating the Lightning under those circumstances.
It was insane that they won. Like, I still can't believe they won that game. I can't believe Fedotov only let up the one goal, which was number one, that was a weird goal too. Like, did you see that Kucherov goal?
I actually did not even see it.
So Kucherov basically skated around like 3 dudes and got a wraparound goal. Like, it was crazy. Like, he skated right around Risto. I forget, maybe it was Risto, Fedotov, and Couturier, I'm thinking of.
Right,
but like, he skates around Risto, and then Couturier realizes, I think his body just doesn't respond the way that his as quickly as his brain recognizes this. But Couturier sees what's happening, but he just can't move fast enough. And Kucherov just sneaks around Risto, goes around the back of the net, and just tucks it in before anybody realizes what the hell he's doing. It just like he made him look like Pee-wee player. So when that happened, I think that happened early second period or something like that. I'm like, all right, it's the beginning of the end. Tampa Bay is going to get into gear. They know what's going on now. And it didn't happen. And there were a lot of times during that game where I thought, okay, Fedotov, he is going to let up the backbreaker right here. It's going to happen. And he had a lot of the same things that have worried me in other games where he's like kind of bumbling out of position and you're getting nervous about it. But to his credit, he didn't let anything else in. Like, he was rock solid, and Tampa had their chances. I mean, Tampa wasn't great in that game, but they had their chances, and they're a talented damn team. And Fed had a great game. And we had talked to the last time he was in there, he actually had a pretty impressive like third period, like where he actually seemed like he gained some confidence. And I thought coming in cold, there's no way he did any good, but he did. So, I mean, I got to give the guy credit. And I've been rooting for Fedotov. I'm upset that he's looked as poor as he has, because like, I really wanted him to be good. Who doesn't want a 6'7", 6'8" goaltender to be awesome? You know?
Like, no, you want to,
that's the dream right there. You want your own Ben Bishop, your Russian Ben Bishop, but it didn't seem like it was to be. And I'm still not feeling great about it, but the fact that he could do this was really nice. And it's a
confidence boost. It's a huge confidence boost for him. Like, he needed to get just a win. It didn't matter how he got it, but he needed to get a win. He needed to have a good game. He had it. And now what does this do for his confidence moving forward? Like, do we see him play again soon? And, you know, he looks like a whole new guy. You know, is that a possibility? Or do they continue moving forward with Alexei Kolosov, who still has looked better than Fedotov? Like,
he's looked better than Fedotov, but his numbers have not really reflected that. But he's also had some tough competition.
Yeah. And like, the team in front of him had not been playing well. Like, in most of the games that Kolosov has played, like, he has not looked, he has looked competent. The team in front of him has not.
Yeah. And Kolosov's been thrust in there in some difficult situations for sure. Like, and
Samuel game.
And Ersson being hurt really hurt this team for a while, because Ersson was playing great when he went down on the injured list right there. And I was bummed when it happened, because he was playing really well. And Kolosov's hurt now, which sucks, because like, I mean, it kind of works out because now you have two, you know, you have just a couple goaltenders in there, but now you have 2 goaltenders like a normal team, which is nice.
Right.
I'm curious to see if anybody besides Ersson gets a start this week, though, because they have 3 games, but they have days between. They have days off between those games. So I think there's 2 games off, because I think the next game is Thursday, and then they have off Friday for Saturday.
Yeah, so they play Thursday. So you would imagine Fedotov. You would imagine Ersson would play Thursday against Ottawa in Ottawa. Claude Giroux.
That's a tough matchup too. I mean, Ottawa's
looking like okay.
They're like a 500 team, but like, they have a ton of talent. I mean, Stützle, Claude Giroux, Brady Tkachuk. That is not a stacked team, but that's a good team.
Yeah. So like, you know, it's not like it's a cakewalk. It's not like, you know, you're just running over the Senators like you used to. You know, they got talent. So that'll be an interesting one. I think Ersson starts that game. And then it'll be interesting to see what they do for the Buffalo game. I think if they play a backup, it's got to be the Buffalo game, because Buffalo is it's Buffalo. They're still not that good, no matter how hard they try. And only a couple days later, they have Colorado. And then they have Carolina. And I would imagine they would want Harrison playing both those games. So I feel like on Saturday, they would want to have Kolosov in there or Fedotov, whoever they end up going with. I would imagine it would be Kolosov because that he seems to have won the backup job, but I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know what they're going to do. It's like a pretty wild card, but I'm glad at least Fedotov has shown some confidence, gotten one under his belt.
Yeah.
And if he does play, I'm very curious. What I have to keep reminding myself is like the win, as I like to say, the wins and losses don't really matter this season. I have to keep reminding myself of that because like it is hard when you're watching this team day to day.
You want the team to do well. Like in specific, like when I'm watching this team, I want to see there's only one thing I really want to see, and that's the young kids doing well. So like I want to see Michkov do well. I want to see him playing well. I want to see him scoring goals, getting assists. Not every game, but I want to see him play like standing out. Emil Andrae. I want to see Emil Andrae playing well. Dude,
Emil Andrae about Emil Andrae because I love him, and there's no way you could send him back down this season. I'm sorry. I cannot.
Like, do you keep him on the top pair with Sanheim?
I love it. I'm into it.
He was so good.
Here's the thing. When York gets back, if you can pair York with Ristolainen, and then you can make like Sealer Drysdale your like third pair, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, Drysdale has been awesome, but like Nick Sealer should be a third pair defenseman. You know, he should not be your second pair guy. So if you can have Nick Sealer down there and you can have Ristolainen playing where he actually should be playing on the second pair, you're paying the guy the money and his talent level, like Ristolainen should be playing on a second pairing. And he's, you know, he's been better, but he's still not a first pair guy. I love what I've seen out of Emil Andrae. To have the confidence he's had, and what I really love is the power play with him.
Dude, I mean, he moves the puck around just effortlessly. And like, listen, we've known that he was a power play quarterback since before he was even drafted by the Flyers. Like I remember watching him in the World Juniors. He played for Sweden. He was always the power play guy, or one of the power play guys for Sweden. And like, he just looked so natural and so smooth back there. He just knows what he's doing on the power play, on the man advantage. And it's kind of translated over to the NHL where like I think with Jamie Drysdale, it takes him a second to figure out what the hell he wants to do. Emil Andrae, he already knows. As soon as the puck's on his stick, he's like, all right. Like he moves the puck so quickly, so effortlessly. And it changes everything when you have a power play quarterback who moves the puck so efficiently.
It really does, man. It's been so much more fun to watch. He's moving it efficiently, but man, he's also got some spice, man. He gets into it.
Yeah.
I like it. Like he's not the biggest guy, but he gets in there.
Yeah. I look back at that Boston game where he just, I can't remember who it was, but he just like punched a dude right in the face. And it's just like, it's great. Like he's a little guy, but he's feisty. And I saw somebody on Twitter the other day who I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like Flyers goal scored by or something, but someone basically posted a photo like of Emil Andrae and then a photo of Kimmo Timonen. And then they just had like question marks. And it's like, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't call him Kimmo Timonen at all. But like he has really shown good flashes of being like a solid two-way dude. And like, you can't send him back down. You literally cannot. I don't know how you can possibly make that move.
Like, I think if you have to make a decision, Zamula is clearly the guy
it's not
you
close.
Have to send through. It's not close. Yeah. Zamula has looked completely lost out there. Mm-hmm. And his most valuable role this year has been being the translator for Matvei Michkov. Like,
exactly.
He hasn't done anything on the ice that has given me any confidence in his play, which sucks because I thought Zamula was going to be a solid player. And he really has not shown me anything. So if you do have to send somebody down, which it doesn't look like you're going to have to do right now, because York, when he comes back, which hopefully will be soon, Drysdale is going on the IR, right? So I don't know the extent of Drysdale's injury, how long he's going to be out, but like, then you don't have to make that hard decision just yet. Not that it's that hard, but like, you don't want to lose a guy potentially if you don't have to. I don't think anybody's claiming Zamula, but like, I don't like risking losing guys either if I don't
have to. Yeah. How concerned are you about Jamie Drysdale? On multiple fronts, because we know he's injury prone.
Yeah.
And now he's on IR. We saw him get injured last season. And then even aside from the injuries, just his overall play on the ice. Like, what concerns you more?
The overall play on the ice is what is most concerning to me. And the thing about Drysdale is, like, I don't want to give, like, I've seen people kind of talk about like giving up on him already, which I think is nuts because he's young and he's very talented. I think there's things like you can teach guys like Ristolainen, like he doesn't have size. You can't teach size, right? But what John Tortorella and Brad Shaw have had to do is teach Ristolainen kind of how to play defense, right? Mm-hmm. And Drysdale has this like skating ability and these puck skills that you really can't teach somebody. He has natural talent in that area, but how do you really hone that talent into becoming a good player, into becoming a sound defenseman? Because when Shane Gostisbehere came into the league, Shane Gostisbehere wasn't the best defensive defenseman, but he put up offensive numbers that made you not give one single solitary
No one
shit.
cared. Yeah.
Nobody cared because he was so good on offense. He was so good on the power play, the ghost shimmy. We always talked about that ghost slap shot. He did things out there that made you just not care. Whereas Drysdale's shown me like cool moves, but he doesn't have the offensive production to really make you not care about the fact that his defense is horseshit.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of Ghost, how about him? How about the year he's having right now with Carolina? Is anyone shocked? Is anybody surprised?
Nobody in Philadelphia. Nobody in Philadelphia.
Not at all.
I mean, I would say half the Flyers fan base, because like you remember when they moved him out, like half the people were going like, well, you got to move him. You have to, no matter what the cost. And then there were people like me who were like, no, why would you just get rid of him? He's great.
Well, then you also had people saying like, good, he can't even hit the net. And it's just like, what brain worm is in your brain right now? But like, he is
great time for brain worms. Let me tell you,
he's got 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points, 11 games, 14 games. Dude is still very, very good. And it seems like he's usurped Brent Burns for like the top like power play spot. So like,
as he should. I mean, dude, that guy has a cannon of a shot. He always has, and he probably always will. Like, he's got a great shot. And not that Brent Burns had like a shot over there. But right. Shane Gostisbehere's always had a great shot. He's a lot younger than Brent Burns. Like, Gostisbehere's not young at this point, but like compared to Brent Burns, who is Brent Burns like 38?
I think he's like 39.
Yeah, like Brent Burns is up there. And frankly, his play,
he looks good for his age, honestly.
Yeah. Dr. T, man, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that was who was the predecessor? Who was the GM in there who left? I'm trying Don the Wad.
Oh, Waddle.
Yeah. Don the Wad, Waddell.
Don the Wad.
Yeah, Don the Wad. I mean, but Dr. T was, he's pulling the strings over there. We all know what was going on.
Right. Yeah.
But man, yeah, I feel good. I'm actually happy for Gostisbehere. And we've talked about like our feelings on the divisional teams before, and Carolina's probably the one that we hate the least. Like Carolina's just like, that's fine. I don't really.
I have no reason to dislike the Hurricanes. I've never had a reason to dislike them. So
I have a lot of ire in the division. Okay, and the Hurricanes.
None of it goes
like
to
it's Hurricanes, and then like Columbus for me. I know Columbus, you have bad feelings against
a little bit higher, but
the Hurricanes are like easily like they're not my second favorite team because I don't have a second favorite team. Screw everybody in the division, but they are the team I mind the least in the Metropolitan Division. And it's so cool if they win. Like that's fine by me as long as it's not the Devils or the Rangers.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So I'm happy for Gostisbehere, but I'm not surprised. They're probably using him in a very smart way. Rod Brind'Amour is one of the best coaches in the NHL for a reason.
Yeah, no, absolutely. God damn it, I missed that guy. I still can't believe they fucking gave up assets in order to make him go away. And then
we made him go
play
away,
better.
got Rasmus Ristolainen, and then later got Tony DeAngelo to replace him. So just brilliant gamesmanship by Chuck Fletcher there.
Love it. Absolutely.
This is the best timeline for sure.
Absolutely. So what I also wanted to ask you is, are you a little surprised that Cam York hasn't come back yet?
A little bit, yeah. I didn't think his injury was like that bad, but take your time, bud, because there's no rush this season.
And honestly, like, I do kind of wonder if they feel okay letting him take his time coming back, because they saw how like not absolutely repugnant the defense was. You know what I mean? Like that Boston game and that Blues game, they played great, and they didn't have Cam York. And like now you have Emil Andrae up and he's playing well. And I think part of me wonders if they're like trying to assess the situation of like, okay, who are we sending down? Like we need to see some games out of these guys before we make a tough decision here. Maybe they're watching Igor Zamula and they're like, we need to like, fuck, what do we do with this guy? Because we don't want to risk losing him, but like, what do we do here? So like, I do wonder if that's part of the, you know, the situation of Cam York still being gone. Am I tinfoil hatting this? Yeah, probably. But like, that's our job. So
sadly, I only have the parchment paper close to me tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
The tinfoil. So, yeah, I'm not going to make a hat out of parchment paper over here, but it's not going to protect me from the brainwaves that are influencing crazy decisions here. But yeah, I do agree with you. Like, there's definitely, I think they're not rushing anybody back, because also the Flyers have a bit of a reputation for how they've handled injuries over the past few years that they're trying to shake. So I think that's also part of it. Like, they are trying not to rush anybody back. This is your new era of orange right here, bud. We are doing everything we can to get guys back 100% healthy. Also, there's just no point in rushing anybody back. This is just, as we said, this is not a competitive team. This is a team that just crawled out of the basement of the NHL. And is it just barely? I haven't checked the standings, but them against the San Jose Sharks was basically like the battle of the basement.
Essentially, yeah. They have been consistently one of the worst teams in the NHL for the last couple of weeks. So
they're not even in the basement in the Metro anymore, because
not anymore. They're doing better now, but
I was going to say they climbed ahead of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but the Flyers actually have 2 games in hand over the Blue Jackets. So right now in the bottom of your Metro standings, you've got the Islanders, who have 15 points in 15 games. You've got the Flyers, who have 14 points in 16 games. You've got the Penguins, who have 14 points in 17 games. You hate to see that. And you've got the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have 12 points in 14 games. So for some reason, Columbus has played like 2-3 games less than everybody else. But
how about the Penguins getting involved in the trade market nice and early in the season, trading Lars Eller back to
Washington, right?
Yeah, back to Washington. So,
which, man, if you told me like back in the height of the Crosby Ovechkin wars, you know, God, that was so long ago at this point. I'm so old.
Yeah.
That the Penguins and the Capitals would be pulling trades like this, like I'd be like, you're full of shit, but here we are.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like already putting up some white flags, and that's a team that I'm wondering if there might be some big changes after the season. I mean, Sullivan's been there a long time and he's done a really, really freaking good job. Too good. But I wonder if they part ways with him.
I mean, they have to do something. And it feels like that something isn't going to be like trading Sidney Crosby or trading the core guys.
Did he just sign another contract?
They got to do something.
0.7 mil, right?
Yeah. So like,
because he can only sign for his number. You're lame, Sid.
I just don't know. You know, I feel like you got to let the coach go. And it's just, that's good for the Flyers because, like, who knows, maybe they'll be in the hunt for a new coach. And if Mike Sullivan's there, like, wouldn't it behoove him to come to the Penguins' rival and be like, you fired me? You did what? And then he just absolutely terrorizes the Penguins for the next 15 years. Wouldn't that
be I would love to terrorize the Penguins for any period of time. That'd be great. I love seeing them at the bottom of the standings, though, especially I still don't understand why they decided to keep this team together instead of like selling it for scrap, like keeping like Malkin and Letang around to just basically be like trophy players at this point. Like it's so silly. Like Crosby's a legend. Crosby should be.
He has to stay. Yeah,
he has to stay. Malkin, don't get me wrong, he's definitely like an all-timer in Pittsburgh, and I hate his guts, but he's definitely up there. But like the smart move would have been to let Malkin go elsewhere, and the same thing with Letang, and holding on to them. I'm not complaining because I've been wanting to see the downfall of this team for a long time. Right. So I'm very happy to see it. But if I was a Penguins fan, I'd be so frustrated by those moves right now because like they could have been in the thick of rebuilding, and like it'll be nice to have a high pick this season for sure. Like that'll definitely help them. But like, is it too little too late? Because like they should have been rebuilding for a couple seasons now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like it feels like they're just trying to like, they just don't want to break up the gang. And it's like such a weird choice because like I get it. Like the fans want them to stay together and retire together and all that fucking like Hallmark movie bullshit. But like that is a dumb move. Like from a general manager perspective, get rid of like whoever you can get rid of. Like you have to do something, like you can't just sit there and let these literal skeletons be like kind of just to taking charge of everything. Yeah. You need to you have to understand the situation. And it feels like Kyle Dubas is not crushing it in Pittsburgh.
I mean, they've just made so many weird moves. It's like an Anchorman when they're at the party and he goes like, we've been coming to the same party for 15 years. And in no way is that depressing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the Pittsburgh Penguins right now. They are Ron Burgundy's pool party. But my favorite is still the Carlson move. Like, yeah, that's going to do it, guys. You get 35-year-old or whatever he was at the time. It might even been 37 at the time. You get old ass Erik Karlsson in there and he's going to fix all your problems. And granted, Karlsson was coming off a Norris winning year. He was unbelievable. Right, yeah. But like you're getting an old injury prone defenseman for a team that's old and injury prone. Like what did you think was going to happen? They don't have supporting players. That was the thing that sustained the Penguins during their cup years is I guess they had like a good system for drafting these guys because they would keep finding these Jake Gensels out there, Brian Rust, a lot of these like under the radar, sneaky good guys that Crosby could just use to basically like pot goals off of, like they would get like solid players that would complement Crosby. Evan Rodriguez is an example where that's a guy that I never wanted him to like, I don't know. He just bothered me for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Evan Rodriguez is like made himself a solid NHL career. Like he's proven himself to be like a valuable role player now with Colorado and Florida, right? Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they were very good for a long time at finding these annoying, sneaky good guys, Tanev, like, these guys that like, you just were not like, you're kind of like, oh my God, this guy's good. Chris Kunitz is a great example.
Yes. So that's what I was thinking.
The fact that he made the Olympic team over Claude Giroux is still an atrocity, but
I still can't. Yeah.
It's insane.
It drives me crazy.
The lack of respect for Claude Giroux historically, though, as we all know, drives us all insane because he should have won the Hart and he should have been on that Olympic team. But, True. What's the point? But regardless, that team used to be really good at finding those depth players, and they haven't been good at that in recent years. And now they're dead. So sorry, not sorry. RIPD the Penguins.
They have Kevin Hayes though. So
I forgot that he was
the vibe. At least the vibes are high.
I totally forgot that Kevin Hayes was a Pittsburgh Penguin. 100%.
Can you guess how many points Kevin Hayes has this season?
4. Yes.
He has 4 points in 14 games.
4 points in 4. Okay. How many goals?
3.
Damn. Oh, Kevin Hayes. I feel bad.
Ride.
Kevin Hayes.
It's been a tough ride. Kevin Hayes, I respect to the stars and back. Love Kevin Hayes. It's a shame that his tenure in Philly ended the way it did. It's a shame him and Torts didn't hate each other. They both have said nice things about each other, but like they just couldn't coexist.
A total oil and water situation.
Yeah, right, it was just not a good idea.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah.
So that actually leads me to what I want for the next topic tonight.
Good segue.
That would be Morgan Frost, who is a player that we've now seen for a couple seasons with Torts. Just not really click with the man. We were hoping that due to his second half performance last year, was on the upswing and everything. But number one, John Tortorella is a hard man to impress. We all know that. But
yeah,
the other thing is, on a team that has as pathetic center depth as the Philadelphia Flyers do, Morgan Frost is a guy that you really have high expectations for, and you need a lot out of, and you simply haven't gotten it this year.
And you need him in the roster, like in the lineup, because there's no one else.
There's no one else.
You have to have him. You need to have Morgan Frost in the lineup because he's one of your only like 2 actual centers. And do you know how bad he has to play to get scratched? Like, he has to play monumentally bad to get scratched when he's literally one of the only natural centers in the on the roster. And so like for him to get scratched in the doghouse again, it's just like, Morgan Frost just ain't it. I'm sorry. Like, we've been saying this. We've been, honestly, I feel like we've been having this conversation for like 3 years now. He's just not that good. And this season we're seeing it again. Like, is it possible that he just goes ham after the holiday break? Yeah, he could. We've seen him do it before. But like, I am just not, he's not someone you can count on. He's not a dependable player. I wish he was. He's an awesome dude. Like, really, really good guy. Very easy to root for him. I think he's
super talented too. Like, I think we've seen it. Like, he's got talent. And I think if you put him in the right situation on the right team, he'll succeed. I don't think this is the situation.
It's not going to be in Philly. Yeah.
It's not going to be. Like, I think you have to put him somewhere like Tampa or Toronto or Carolina, somewhere where it's funny because like Carolina's a great example. It's funny because we've kind of said this about like Travis Konechny, except Travis Konechny produces for this team. Yeah. Frost is a guy who I think he really needs like sheltered minutes more. He's a guy that I don't think, honestly, he might be better off at wing too, than where he's currently at. I just don't think with John Tortorella and the situation the Flyers are in, I just don't think this is a good situation for him. So I think I would not be surprised if he was involved at a trade either at the deadline or come draft time next year.
I think you have to. I really, really think you got to move him. And like, it's so tough. And like, a lot of people say this, and I kind of agree. He does absolutely strike me as the kind of player who, like, the Flyers just give up on him. They give him all this time and they give up on him, and then they trade him, and then he just balls out somewhere else.
That's what I'm worried about with Drysdale.
I absolutely can see that happening with Morgan Frost. I really truly believe the Flyers could like trade him somewhere, and then he just fits, and he has like, 60-point seasons for like 4 seasons in a row, like something like that. But the fact of the matter, if that happens, it doesn't matter, man. It's not working here. It's not working in Philly. Do something about it. Open up this spot for someone else, because he's just not going to fit on this team long term. And I think you have to make a tough choice here at the trade deadline, whenever the hell you got to do it. What's his contract? I think it's just 1 more year left. But like, you have to make a choice here. And I think it's very, very evident that he's not part of this team's future, because he's just not established himself as that.
And I don't think this is a guy you could just let walk for free either. I'm sure he's like an RFA, but I'm looking up the Flyers Puckpedia page right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
By the way, I just forgot for a minute that Cap Friendly wasn't a thing the other day, because I totally typed in Cap Friendly in my
browser
about to do it and then went, oh,
Yeah, I'm really sad. I'm still upset about it.
Oh,
Very upset
yeah,
about
it's
it.
very upsetting. It was like the greatest hockey resource of all time. It was
It was.
fantastic, and
He becomes an arbitration eligible restricted free agent at the end of the season. See
okay.
you later, bud.
So
Enjoy free agency.
you don't necessarily. I wouldn't just send him the free agency. I try to work out a
Not
deal
free
for him.
agency, but like trade him. Trade him
Yeah, trade.
to some other team and then have
Or
them
let
be
him
in
seek out
arbitration.
somebody to work a trade with, like whatever
Yeah.
works. But yeah, I just don't feel like it's working out. And man, I've been burnt like so many of these guys. Patrick Sharp always haunts my nightmares in this regard. Like Patrick Sharp's one of my biggest examples of this, or Justin Williams. Like there are guys they've given up on too early, and it's definitely kicked them in the ass. But
yeah,
I just don't think Morgan Frost is a good fit for what this team is. And I hate to be that guy, but I need some size at center right now.
yeah.
I need somebody, especially because like Jet is their biggest piece in the pipeline right now. And Jet's not a huge guy. So like I'd really like another decent sized center over there. And like Ryan Poehling does what he can, right? Ryan Poehling plays the best he possibly can. But Ryan Poehling's ceiling is very limited. So I mean, we've talked about it. Center is the one area where the Flyers are really missing a key component, and I mean, we're seeing the struggles as a result.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just, it's crazy how center used to be the team's like kind of like strong spot. They used to have difficulties on the wing.
Oh my
and now
God.
it's just completely flip flopped, and it's just funny.
So. I've talked about this before, but like I remember when they drafted Scott Lawton, and we were like, "Oh my God, another two-way center! How many of these can you get?" And it's like, "Oh, I guess you can never have enough," because now we're seeing it. And as it turned out, Scott Lawton wasn't quite a center anyway. He's kind of a center, but he's not like a true center. But man, like if you think about it, like back in the 2010 season, you've got on that roster, you've got Jeff Carter, Daniel Briere, Mike Richards, Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
Like you are just stacked at center on that team. I forget. I'm not even remembering who the fourth line center was on that team because they just had so much. And Claude Giroux was playing wing on that team.
Right.
And would end up being the 1C for this team for a long damn time. Who the hell was it? Like Blair Betts, I want to say. You
remember Blair Jones?
Vaguely.
Random guy. That's something we need to do in the offseason is just have I think we talked about this before. Just have a random guy naming contest, which you would beat me. Absolutely.
Yeah, you're in for,
but yeah,
you're cruising for a bruising on that front.
I can name some random ass Flyers from the last 10 years, but
I bet you can.
Yeah,
I bet you can. I'm looking at the 2010 roster right now, and there are some great random names on here. But let's see. Listed at Blair Betts. There we go. I remembered. Listed as centers for this team: Mike Richards, Jeff Carter, Daniel Briere, Ian LaPerriere.
There you go.
Blair Betts, Darryl Powell, Mika Piarala, John Kalinsky, and Jared Ross.
Oh wow!
How about that? But yeah, Blair Betts. Almost forgot about Blair Betts over there. But how can you forget about such a great alliterative name right there? But yeah, Morgan Frost is back in the doghouse. I think Bobby Brink is going to be in there after he had a bad trip late in the game yesterday.
Yeah.
But like,
see, the thing with Bobby Brink though is like he makes stupid little mistakes here and there, but like I believe in him. Like I have seen enough from him where I'm like he can be a player. You know what I mean?
I've seen a lot more dynamic plays out of him this season.
Yes.
Whereas Frost, I've seen maybe a couple, but like I really can't recall anything. And he's missed a lot of open friggin' nets too.
Yeah.
If Morgan Frost could hit some of these open nets, I think
his one goal was
different.
like that's the only way he could score his first goal of the season. Like literally fumbling the puck by accident into the wide open net. Like he did not mean to score that goal. It was a literal accident. So like he's just fighting it so hard. And like is it possible he pulls himself out? Yeah, it is. And I hope he does, because if so, that will increase his trade value. He's not going to be part of this. He's just not. I don't think he's a Flyer.
I just don't think he is either. And like, I mean, it's not quite early enough to start thinking about trades, but like, if we're thinking about the big picture of this team, which we should be constantly thinking of, your key future pieces pretty much starts and ends with Matvei Michkov and Jet Luchenko right there. Like, you've got some other guys in there. I like Andrae a lot. Cam York is still pretty young, but Tyson Forrester. But like, you've got some core guys right there. But Bobby Brink's like a Verge guy. We're not sure. Morgan Frost really doesn't seem like he's in that group right there. Farabee's actually younger than you always think he is, but like, that's always a question mark. He hasn't been.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not at the level that you would want him to be. So
and I just don't think Frosty's quite in that core group, and you just got, that's the kind of thing you have to think about. So if you're going to work some deals, like, really, that's where you have to start thinking about, okay, who are we focusing on here? Okay. And Mishkov's all I care about on this team right now.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, it's like I said before, it's the young guys. That's the only thing that matters. And that's a fun, like, problem to have. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad to be able to, like, not care about the wins and losses and just watch and be like, you know what, we lost, but sick. Michkov had a really good game. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. Right. You know what I mean? Same thing for
because they almost blew it last night. They came very close to blowing it against a not very good San Jose Sharks team.
And then who won it for them in the shootout? Michkov.
Like, that shootout goal that he had was awesome. It's funny because, like, Travis Konechny's shootout goal was much flashier.
Yeah.
Travis Konechny had like a savvier, like, veteran savvy, fun move that he did. But Michkov's was so thrilling because he just dominated the goaltender. I believe it was Vanacek, right?
Yep.
And he just dominated him. He just skated in, put a very, like, routine move on him, but he was just that powerful with it and just that smooth with it that he just slammed it in. Like, it was incredible. Like, it's just something about watching it. Like, objectively speaking, it's not the most dynamic move I've ever seen, but man, the way he did it, I don't know.
It's the way he did it. Yeah. And it's like how he pulled it off. That's what made it awesome.
He pulls out the hands again. Like, he does the, like, hey, you're not entertained thing. Like,
I love that.
He is friggin' awesome. And I think it was Jacob Russell who said on Blue Sky yesterday that, like, he's just got swag in a way that, like, what other Flyers had in a long time. I mean, maybe Claude Giroux had some, but, like, Claude Giroux had it, like, intermittently. Like, he had it for like the outdoor game, right? But, like, he's never been the flashiest player.
The BSH, I don't know if I've ever cover photo of him, like, but
it's, like, unbelievable. But, like, the Flyers historically, and this is also hockey as a sport, is not like a really in your face swagger sport. And Michkov's 19. And he's already got way more swag than everybody else. And it's also very funny. I've got this Tortorella quote up here where they asked him how he played, and he said he played good.
Yeah.
Which is the most Tortorella's trying to keep him down to earth. And he's got him in the press box trying to observe. But, like, Matvei's gonna Matvei. Okay. He is just a force in and of itself. And he's just like a player unlike any of the Flyers have ever had. So, man, it's all this bullshit that we've had in the past, like, week. The only thing I care about is what happened in the San Jose game.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of a beautiful thing. So I don't know, man. Like, again, wins, losses, they should not matter. Anything, if they get to the playoffs, that is a bonus. That is cool.
And if they don't right now,
if they don't get there, cool. Higher draft pick. Let's get a center. Let's use it for some ammunition to get, to trade up, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice not having these expectations and just enjoying the ride and seeing what happens. It's a good change of pace from what we were before, where we went from, expecting to go to the playoffs every year to being just miserable every year. And now it's just like, you know what? We're just having a good time. It's about the friends we made along the way for this one. So
I just hope the rest of the fan base thinks that way, because, like, it's tough. It's tough. We want to see the team win, especially if you're paying to go to games, but
Right.
Just got to try and have some perspective, guys. This is not the point of the season. The point of the season is the young guys, and it's all about number 39 in my book.
Yeah, no, it is. He's literally the future of the franchise.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right. Well, I think that's as good a note as any to end this little podcast on. But thanks for listening, friendos. It's always a pleasure. If you have any feedback for us, unfortunately, the best place is still social media. Quigs, where can people find you on the socials?
You can find me at Ryan Quigs with a Z. I'm thinking of going to Blue Sky, like full time.
That's where I'm at.
Dude, everyone is going to Blue Sky right now. Like,
do it.
Over the last few days, I don't know what happened, but like I've gotten like 100, like what feels like 100 new followers on Blue Sky. I don't know what's going on.
I went from, I don't know, maybe like 39 or something like that to like 400 something, like in a couple days.
Yeah, I don't know what's like.
Well, I think people just had it with X/Twitter over the past week, and I think there's a few reasons why. And they finally just hit a wall with it, and for good reason. The site's been run into the ground. It's garbage now. So I personally, I've been doing almost everything on Blue Sky over the past few days, and that's my plan to continue doing that. I think it's a cleaner interface. The fact that it's not overrun by just hateful people is great. The vibes are much better. And the fact that it doesn't have all these like bullshitty ads, which that's my biggest problem with Twitter right now, is like it has these like sponsored tweets, these ads. It forces stuff onto your timeline that's not what you want to read. Right. It's just like, I still go there occasionally for like sports news updates because a lot of the big reporters haven't come over, but some of the other reporters come over. I mean, Charlie joined recently, which is great. And, you know, Charlie and Bill, our PHLY friends, joined recently. So I've been posting a ton on there. I know you haven't seen me much on Twitter lately, but I'm posting a ton on there. Come join the party. It's a good time. And on that note, follow me on Blue Sky at Flyperbole, also at Esteban. If it's for hockey purposes, make it Flyperbole. I still will be checking the Twitter occasionally, but my intention is post primarily on Blue Sky. You can also find Flyperbole on Instagram and TikTok. All that fun stuff right there. Many social medias. Follow Broad Street Hockey, BSH Radio. Well, BSH Radio. I haven't said that in a while. Follow Broad Street Hockey. All right, great. How about that? I fell into some
that was weird. Yeah,
it was weird, wild stuff right there. All right, I'm running out of steam. I got to get going. I had a cranky puppy for half this episode, so sorry on that front. But listen, we just left the little guy home alone for like the second time ever today, and he was cranky about it. So that's what happens.
He'll survive.
He survived. He just took naps. It's worse ways to live. Yeah. Just take a bunch of naps. It sounds great. Yeah.
I would pay for that to be my life.
Oh my God. Isn't that nice? Just sleeping on a beanbag right now. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here, Brucey. All right, folks. Thanks to Bet Online for sponsoring the show. And until next time, in the words of the great Gene Hart, good night and good hockey. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow.